What's going on, everyone? This is the Creative Kingdom Society. This is our very first video. I am Jake Ballentine. I'm here with Chuck Schofield. And this being our first video, we wanted to tell you, who the heck are we? What are we doing? What is this whole thing? So to start off, the Creative Kingdom Society, this is a society of people who are really super fans of the creators behind the magic, not just the creators who create the actual magic, those that are the Imagineers, the people, the filmmakers, the artists, all those kinds of people that are creating the magic there, but also the fans of it that have then gone and created their own creations, the YouTubers, the Instagrammers, the artists, the Etsy artists, all those kind of people, the podcasters. And here we are today, this first episode. What we wanted to do is brought on Chuck Schofield. He's going to be with us almost every episode. And he's going to be interviewing me today. And we're going to just talk about what this whole thing is, what the vision of it is. And thank you for coming along with the ride. I hope that you enjoy this. Hope you have fun with it. So Chuck, take it away.
Thanks, Jake. I'm super excited to be here. I always love talking with you about whatever tidbit of Disney history or theme park history or news or updates we hear about nearly weekly, sometimes several times a week. So I'm excited to, I'm always excited to have those conversations with you. Usually they're not in front of an audience. That's going to be a little bit nerve-wracking and anxiety-inducing, but at least we're all here together in a collective community of like-minded fans, right? And so I'm really fascinated by what you want to do here with regards to looking at what takes a fan to from a position of just consuming entertainment and consuming the content, whether it's just passively or actively or with varying degrees of fanaticism. What makes them cross that line to then producing more content? Like there's a magic sweet spot in there. Like we know a lot of fans, a lot of people are fans. A lot of this entertainment, themed space, they're intended for general audiences. Great, that's awesome. There's a million vlogs out there about that. But what is it that makes the consumer consume enough to then produce and add to the creative collective conversation? I'm fascinated with that one little piece from a social science perspective or whatever. But so what I wanted to ask you today, not just for my own benefit, but I think for the benefit of anyone watching or listening, why are you doing this? Why now? What's your background as a fan? What pushed you over that edge to then add to the conversation like this? Why do you want to explore these other creators? And why did you drag me along?
So that's a loaded question there. First of all, I'm a big believer in having fun. I'm a big believer in fun and enjoyment. And look, we can go to the parks, we can do those kinds of things, but I'm more interested in what's going on behind the scenes and also the community of people that are those super fans. Like people look at like the annual pass holder crowd, and sometimes they look at them as, I know a lot of out of towners look at them with frustration and look at them in that kind of way. But we've had this conversation before. It's almost like Disneyland is a country club. It's almost like the country club where people get to go and experience something, and not just experience something, but get to connect with other people. I'm a people person by nature, and I'm really obsessed with the people behind something, people who are doing things, the people who are creating things. And after a long time of watching, I just wanted to be involved. And I wanted to feature these people to show not just like the people behind the magic when we look at like official Disney creations. Also, we'll be talking about other themed entertainment as well. We made this joke earlier. We were talking about how, yeah, it's going to be all themed entertainment, but it's going to be mostly Disney. And that's just because that's where our fandom is. Not to mean it's necessarily the best, or maybe that's yours, but that's ours. That's what we're the most into. But I'm so interested in the people who are creating the podcast, creating the YouTube channels, doing the Instagram pages, all of those kinds of things. And I think a lot of it is because it revived my obsession with the magic. I've always been a huge fan of the Disney parks. I've always been, at an obsessive level. But really, for most of my 20s, I kind of was just more of like a fan. Even though in my teens, it was obsessive level. But in most of my 20s, I just kind of was a fan. And then about 7 years ago, that really changed, and I got back into it heavy. And it was really the creators who are creating the content about the creations. It's the YouTubers, it's the podcasters. That's what got me back into it. So that, I don't know, that's my rambled answer of why.
No, that's good, man. And that why is important, and that why is special. I look forward to either hypothetically guessing and thinking about the why behind a lot of these content creators with you in these conversations. But ultimately, I would love to ask them all and
Yeah.
invite them all on the program and ask them that question, like, what is it that made you go from being a fan consuming the content to a fan who then added to that conversation? But so in that light, in light of the fact that we've said the word creative or creator several times already, or collaborative, or other C words like that. Tell me a little more about the name, how we came up with the name, what you're hoping to allude to with the Creative Kingdom Society.
Yeah, well, so that was definitely a collaborative effort between me, you, and my wife Caitlin, together creating this thing, and I love that idea, doing things together. It, Side note, you said why you? Like, why did I want you to be involved in it? And the truth is in my profession, I'm by myself. I'm a solo entrepreneur. I'm doing, yeah, I have people that I work with and do those kinds of things, but I really wanted to be with someone in a collaboration, creative. I love creating things, but when you can create and bounce things back and forth, it's a whole different ball game. And that's kind of goes back to this name. Well, so what did we want to do? First, we talked about the idea of the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, and we wanted to allude to that. This idea of this being a society of people, but then also this idea of like, well, what's something that can represent what we're talking about? We don't really want to have Disney in the name because we don't own the rights to that, and that's kind of murky water. But also, we want to represent other themed entertainment as well. In August, I'm going to a really quaint and beautiful little theme park called the Enchanted Forest. And I'd love to take pictures and make a video or two, share some of those things. But that's not necessarily, or it's not necessarily, it's definitely not. It's not a Disney property, but we still wanted to talk about who are these people that are involved in this thing. And we thought, well, we have the Magic Kingdom. How about we call this? We're a part of the Creative Kingdom and the Creative Kingdom Society. Now, if you're watching this, you're a part of the Creative Kingdom Society because you're at that level of fandom that you're watching this super niche video, meaning you're at that level that you're a part of this. I remember the first time I saw these people with denim jackets with a patch behind it, and I went, who are these people? And I started talking to them. There was a social club called the Neverlanders, and I thought, wow, that's so cool. It's this social club based around Disney, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could create something? And in all honesty, that's so cool that they're doing that. But when I talked to them about like, hey, can I be a part of this? It was pretty exclusive, and there's some a lot of hoops to be a part of this. And I thought, well, what if we create something? Caitlin and I have been talking about this for a long time. What if we created something that was a place for anyone who wanted to be a part of this society, the society of people who, if you're obsessed, if you've watched the Imagineering story more than once, more than two times, well, then you're a part of the Creative Kingdom
You know
Society.
what? You know what? If you've watched it at all, if you
That's probably
if
true.
you've watched it at all, yeah. No, but I love that answer, man, and I love that. I love that. You know, examples. Some examples of people who are motivated or inspired by the content to go out and do something more and add to, and be inspired to act. So some examples are very visual, like those social clubs were. And I wonder if they're going to even come back, or how that's going to be handled with annual passes or whatever. but I'd love to explore that in future episodes. I'd love to
Absolutely.
interview
Let's find
social club people or
let's find the founders of those people and talk to them.
yeah,
I'd
yeah.
love to do that. If that's you, reach out to us.
But that the other day you put up a good Instagram post that sort of inspired what I want to do for the rest of this first episode here. But you go ahead and plug the Instagram. What's the Instagram again?
Just Creative Kingdom Society. Just Creative Kingdom Society. Come hang out there. Um, I,
Yes.
I can I tell you this? I've had so much fun with that. I just wanted to start it and just it be something that, hey, I just wanted to start this and connect with other people who are creators.
Yeah.
And I've been amazed at all the people who are creating amazing things. And some of these people are people with like 100 followers. They're not these big giant things,
Yeah.
and they're putting out awesome stuff. They're putting out their art that they create. They're putting out their photos. They're putting out ideas. And it's like, if you're obsessed with this, there's a place for you.
Yeah.
There's a place for you. And that's really the idea, is like bringing this together. But anyway, Creative Kingdom Society, love to see what you're doing as well.
Yeah. You are very active over there. That's great. And but the other day, a week or so ago, you put this post that said, the Creative Kingdom Society is all of the creative people who bring us the Disney magic. This includes Imagineers, cast members, filmmakers, artists, writers, YouTubers, podcasters, bloggers, Etsy creators, and super fans. And there we could go on. There's a whole host of categories you didn't include there. But I
Totally.
like that list and that list got me thinking, like something that might be fun to do on this first inaugural first episode of the Creative Kingdom Society YouTube channel might be fun to play a little quick, rapid word association sort of game here with 9 categories. I came up
Okay.
with 9 categories. They're not the exact same 9 as you listed. And to be fair to everyone playing at home, I did give Jake this list prior, so I'm not putting him on the spot right now. But I am inviting you, bro, to be as brutally honest as you can with regards to who did you think of first, right?
Yes.
Who did you think of first? Because you and I both talk too much. You and I both could talk way too long for hours and hours about any one of these creators or categories or whatever. So I just want to limit it today. The first person you thought of in each one of these 9 categories, and then one sentence explaining why. Okay. I did give you a heads up, but for you audience playing along at home, you're not as restricted by time as we are. Y'all can plug as many of your favorites as you want, right? Maybe Jake and I are going to list our favorite, well, that came to our mind first, or maybe we're just going to list the person we most recently saw on the social media or YouTube or whatever. There might be a recency bias. It might be totally random. We're not trying to judge. We're certainly not trying to leave anybody out.
We're saying first one that pops to mind.
Yeah,
Word association.
But if this stupid little silly game was anything for you like it was for me, I sure thought of one immediately, but then I immediately thought of a dozen more in every category. And I thought, oh, what about? Oh, no, I should let them go first. No, I should plug them. No, eventually we want to plug everybody, but today is one per category. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay. Category number 1. We got to start with Imagineer.
Imagineer for me is Tony Baxter.
Yeah, I was gonna say Imagineer, except for Tony Baxter, because that's everyone's favorite. Go ahead. What's your one?
I just say why? Like, okay, go back to the Imagineering story and watch his story of going from super fan to anything he could do to get in the park, working at Carnation because they can hire him as a 16-year-old instead of a 17-year-old, then working his way up all the way into Imagineering, and then creating, I know with a whole team as well, but creating incredible attractions that we all know and love.
So we all know and love, and probably everyone watching this knows and loves him too. And the first one that comes to my mind anytime I hear the word Imagineer has to be Bob Gurr.
Yeah.
I've had the privilege of meeting him a dozen times.
I didn't know that.
one of those times, one of those times, he claimed to remember having met me before. And I think he was just being kind, but maybe not. But I'll never forget what he said. He said, "How could I forget that glowing orb with the red skirt?" And it took me a second to realize what he was saying. I was like, "What is he saying?" But then I realized he's talking about my big bald head and my beautiful red beard. And I thought, that's the kindest compliment I've ever received from anyone ever. Like,
He probably did remember you. You have a unique look, but also you have a unique personality. He remembered you.
it's just a great that someone like that who's met thousands of people who would even pretend to have seen me
Yeah.
before, you know?
How could I forget that glowing orb with that red skirt?
And only like who would describe it like that? Anyway. So okay, great category. Category number two, and you've already alluded to her, I think. Uh, documentarian.
Yeah, and so we talked about this before, but Leslie Iwerks, I believe granddaughter of, I don't know if it's Ub or
Up,
Ub. Is
up.
it Ub?
Yeah.
Okay, of Ub Iwerks, um, created the Imagineering story, and so I I would pay. I don't know how much I would pay. I would pay a lot of money just to have a season 2 of the
Oh yeah.
Imagineering story. I
Yeah.
love it so much, and she did an incredible job, and also
Charge
with the story
charge
of
me the
the family.
charge me the premier access thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
for
30
sure.
bucks. Yeah. Go
Instant,
ahead.
instant. Yeah. I'll charge Premier Access, no problem.
You know, that's also obviously my favorite show on Disney Plus. We're both looking forward to the Parks one. We're going to come back to that at the end here. We'll plug that. We'll tease you about that in a second. But the first documentary that came to my mind when I was thinking of this category was that one on YouTube, "The Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow: The Futurism of Walt Disney."
Yes.
By I had to look up the guy's name, Christian Moran,
Yes.
put it out there. But I thought that was absolutely fantastic. Uh, uh, put it up there, like the way he produced it, put it together, put it out there on YouTube. Um, all the fantastic interviews he got, but then just the overall sort of like, oh, this is why what motivated Walt to be optimistic about the future.
Yeah, him talking about him being the super optimist. There was a section in there where he talked about, maybe you'll remember this, but he talks about he says a phrase about, it's not optimism, it was like, do you know what I'm talking about with this optimism but expecting there to be a problem? It was practical optimistic, I think is what he called it, something like that. Do you remember this
Yeah,
section?
yeah, but I'm drawing a blank now too.
Well, we'll
I
have to
should have
come
done
back.
research. We will come back to
We
that
will come
for
back
sure,
to it.
for sure.
And I think, no offense to any of the professionally produced Walt Disney documentaries, the free one on YouTube, I think, is the best Walt Disney documentary that exists. I think it
It's
is.
uh, 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 I do not play favorites. I will not use hyperbole like that.
I'll use favorites.
But
It's
it's
better than the one
fantastic.
that's
It's
Hollywood Studios.
it's
It's better.
absolutely fantastic. And if just as a tease for everyone watching, we're not ever going to be negative on here. We
Yeah,
both certainly can be negative, and
yeah.
I even
I
thought of
won't
some
do that
negative
here.
I even thought of some negative things about that documentary, but we're not going to do that here, right? We're going to focus on everyone's positives, everyone's strengths. There's enough to complain about. We're going to focus on the positive that everyone contributes to this collective, collaborative, creative conversation. Anyway, so we've done Imagineer if you're playing at home. We've done documentarian. Third category is author. Who's your favorite author?
So I even brought my book for show and tell.
So did I.
But uh, there's wait. Are we saying the same book?
No, but I knew you were going to say this one, so I busted out my copy that your brother gave me anyway.
Oh yeah, this is his name is Pat Williams. He also I don't think he still is the owner, but at one point he was the owner, I think the original owner of the Orlando Magic. But he's done all these incredible things. He's written a ton of these books about a bunch of different people. That is how to be like book series, but it's How to Be Like Walt. You can see like this book is torn up like this because I've read it, like I read it annually. I've taken this book with me all over the country, read it on airplanes, read it in hotels. And what's cool about this book is it is a Walt Disney book, but it's written from the standpoint of a personal development and leadership place, which is what I do professionally. And so I've fallen in love with this book. Like this book really was life-changing to me. This was like, that's something that people say often about books, but literally changed the trajectory of my life because I read this book, and it gave me the courage to do a lot of things that I wouldn't have had the courage to do. And this book gave that to me. So Pat Williams, I know you're not listening, but thank you.
I also love that book. I do not read it annually like you do, but I have read it a couple times, and it is fantastic. When you're going to notice here that some of these categories overlap a little, and I may
Yeah.
be cheating a little because this guy is my favorite Imagineer if I was forced to choose one. But my favorite author about this content creation of themed entertainment has to be Marty Sklar.
Oh yeah,
Marty,
absolutely.
Marty Sklar's Dream It, Do It is an absolute treasure.
Yeah.
And but will we ever see anyone with that sort of 50-year career be able to write a history like this, from being the mouthpiece of Walt all the way through the opening of every single park in
Yeah.
the world? Just absolutely incredibly inspiring and positive and fascinating history. Absolutely love his stuff.
Yeah.
And I wish he was still around, to be frank. So we've done Imagineer, documentary, and author. Fourth category is YouTuber.
Yeah, for me, I mean, there's so many on the YouTube category, so I'm gonna go with just I'm just gonna choose one of them. So I'm choosing Justin Scard of Random Land,
And
and
why?
uh,
Why?
and why? Okay, so why I want all the different YouTubers have a different like a different shtick. They all have a different way of doing things. They all have that. But the thing about Justin that I really like is that he is producing, like in his mind, he's producing a show, not a vlog. He's talked about it many times. It's not a vlog. I'm producing a show that could be on Discovery Channel. And you can see that. You can see that he's putting serious time into all of those episodes. And I just think that's really cool. What a cool thing that is.
Absolutely excellent choice. One of my first ones in my head too. The first one in my head though was DSNY. I've been Jack, you've been you. We'll see you real soon. You know,
Love that guy. He's great.
he has a fantastic formula, man.
It's great.
Fantastic formula,
I love
fantastic production.
he changes the pictures behind him almost every episode.
Yeah, he's got a really great setup. Great stuff. Good stuff. So we've
Thorough
done
too, very thorough.
very thorough. Next category is Instagrammer.
So with Instagrammer, I just barely got active on Instagram over the last 2 months for this kind of content. And I discovered a page called Walt's Folly, which a lot of people would see Walt's Folly and not even know
Get
what
it?
that name means.
Right.
But that's what people called this crazy idea of Disneyland. They said, this is Walt's Folly because this is going to be the thing. Yeah, okay, he did that. He did this thing. He did that thing. But this thing is going to be his downfall. And Walt's Folly, all they do is just post Disney history from early Disneyland. Incredible pictures every day, pictures I've never seen before. I thought I had seen all these things. I don't know where he's getting them. I don't know what he's doing, but it is fun to watch. It is fun to see.
I haven't seen that. I'll have to look that one up
He's
for
not
sure.
huge either. He had less
Yeah.
than 1,000 followers.
I follow a lot of creative people on Instagram, and Disney folks too. But the first one that came to my mind in this context was definitely Sarah Sterling. Are you familiar with Sarah Sterling?
I'm not. No.
Everything I probably know about Disney bounding or cosplay or
Oh
that sort
yeah.
of stuff. She's one of those types. So almost 100,000 Instagram followers. You know,
Yeah.
she's one of the bigger ones. But I remember back in the day, she had like a YouTube show on that was on Mice Chat and stuff like that. We're obviously tripping into other categories here, but No, she's a fun follow too.
Tell me your name
And
again.
Sarah Sterling.
Okay, I'll look her up.
And I got to meet. It was fun to meet her at the last D23 Expo too, because she had just got hired into Imagineering.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so her career was fun to follow, and see.
That's cool.
Since COVID's happened, stuff's happened, but whatever. But still, fun follow on Instagram.
Very cool.
I just mentioned Mice Chat, and I'll jump in line ahead of you and say for the next category of blog, mine absolutely has to be Mice Chat.
Yeah.
I've gone to so many Mice Chat events. Dusty Sage is one of the coolest people ever. The guy that runs it, fantastic blog, and Facebook group, and occasional podcast, and all of the above there. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And that's the OG of Disney blogs. But honestly, I would say really the original of all of this stuff that we're talking about. I don't know if certainly the biggest, earliest, them
Well, I
doing.
forgot the history with Mice Age before them, or when they combined. I don't remember.
Okay.
And then prior to that, there was like a message board thing. Message boards, that's above me, man. That's too
Yeah.
old. I'm not in that generation of message board. But Mice Chat, though, like I'm right there. Like they're fantastic. But what about you for blog?
For blog, it's Disney Food Blog. Disney
yeah.
Food Blog. And I'd say that because that's kind of actually the origin of all of this re-obsession with Disney. And it started when I was planning a trip to Disney World. I was planning a trip to Disney World. And
she's just so helpful.
I know Disneyland like the back of my hand. And as a lifelong fan and basically a pass holder almost every year since I was 14, like I never looked things up for Disneyland, but going to Disney World, I wanted to plan that trip and be ready for that. And I started looking things up, and I found Disney Food Blog, and I found also their YouTube, their blog, all that kind of stuff. And really, that's what introduced me to the YouTube algorithms doing their magic. That's where all these things started coming to me, and all these different things started coming, and I started discovering this whole new world is what it was.
A whole new world of magic algorithms, man.
Yes.
And it's great that the stupid artificial intelligence and whatever their algorithm is able to expose us to all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of miraculous. It's kind of a modern miracle.
It is. And this is I'll make it very short, but a random tangent about the algorithms. I hear a lot of complaints about the algorithm just puts you in this tunnel and you just end up having the same thing over and over again. But if what you're doing is something really positive, then you just see really positive stuff. And like my YouTube, and there's new people popping up all the time in that category, and it's really cool. And I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for that algorithm that introduces me to new people.
It's nice when it works right.
Yes. It certainly can not on the other side, but really nice when it works right.
So we've done Imagineer, documentarian, author, YouTuber, Instagrammer, and blog. We got 3 more.
Okay.
Facebook group.
So for Facebook group, I wanted to say this person for another category, so I kind of cheated and put them over here, and that is the Disney History Institute. Disney History Institute also has an incredible podcast. That's kind of their main thing. And there you go. There's me cheating. But they're
I'm gonna talk about him for my podcast.
Okay. Well, then I'll stop talking there. But I'll say their group though, it's all this cool Disney history coming up all the time. And what's cool, I know that there's probably some people who don't like it, but the people who run the group, there's several admins. They keep the conversation on topic.
Good.
And so there's no, you can't hop on there and have a conversation about Loki. That's not what the group is for, which Loki's cool. I love that show, but you can't do that. This is just about Disney history. So it's a really cool place to be and have conversations with people who care about things that sometimes our friends and family get tired of hearing us talk about.
That's this whole show, man. Hey, but so for me, Facebook group, I already mentioned how Mice Chat has a great one, but the funnest one that I just joined most recently is Epcot Center 82. Really fun retro Epcot stuff.
Cool.
And I think speaking about algorithms, I think Facebook is doubling down on their whole help people be part of groups sort of initiative,
They are.
and kind of fix that, or in the process of fixing that algorithm. But that one was suggested to me. I didn't think much of it, but once it came through, or once I joined it, very fun follow.
It's
A
cool.
very fun engagement.
Yeah, it's community. That's the cool
Yeah.
thing about Facebook groups, is them being a community of people that you can actually, it's not just one way. When you're on Instagram, it's you with the creator, but
Yeah,
Facebook
yeah,
groups are this
yeah,
way.
yeah. Okay, so the last two categories are going to be podcast and Etsy creator. For podcasts, I'm going to jump the line, and because I had to think of Disney History Institute. He's the only one I currently contribute to, $5 a month on Bandcamp or whatever.
Yeah, I do too.
But what I absolutely love about what he does is he produces legit scholarship.
Yeah.
His stuff is beyond. It's another level of content creation. It is legit scholarship, and the quality of history that he presents and how he presents it, and the context of even news, more current event type episodes, fantastic. All of it is. And you say you can't just jump on there and he's got good admins and talk about Loki. Well, yeah, until he does a fantastic episode about tying in Loki to the whole history of everything.
Yeah, that was amazing. His whole analysis of the philosophical difference between Marvel and Star Wars, like
Yeah,
between those two
that was a fun
universes.
conversation.
I like it actually, I was like, oh, that's why I feel different about it. And I didn't even
Yeah,
know, like, I like Marvel, but I'm not a super Marvel fan.
dude, I'm
Um,
sure we're gonna go down that rabbit hole too, but don't do it right now though.
okay,
Tell
but
me
but,
who your
but I was gonna
favorite.
say is,
Go ahead.
like, I realized from listening to his episodes, I was like, he gave the content behind why I feel the way that I do, and I didn't know
Yeah,
why. And then I was like,
and he does
oh,
that
that's
so
why I feel
often.
that.
Yeah, yeah. It's not like he does that once. He does that almost every episode.
Yeah,
Like, it's amazing. So, but what
yeah.
about you? Who was the first podcast you thought of?
The backside of water.
Oh yeah,
And the backside of water. It's so fun. Like, there's so many podcasts I listen to that are like this, that are conversational, that are that kind of thing. But you mentioned Disney History Institute, something very produced, and then also me mentioning Backside of Water. It's history mixed with sketch comedy.
it's that old timey radio drama sort of style, but
Yeah,
like every time, and it's so thoroughly well produced and performed, and all the foley work and the sounds and the ear
but it's
candy.
also well thought out too,
Oh,
and
super well thought out.
all of the history is real and is fun, and it's engaging and educational. And that's one that I discovered. I don't know how I discovered that, but I discovered it years ago, and I was just like, "Eh, how come I'm not friends with these guys? Like, they're listening to them. I was like, these, I
These are
know
my
it's
people.
way, but we're friends. Like, we're friends.
Well, yeah, like everyone like all of our moms think they're friends with Oprah, but
Yeah, of course.
and so do I, right? But uh, I fell in love with them through their episodes about the Society of Explorers and Adventurers,
Yeah.
and I've met a couple of them at those Adventureland Day events. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, they're fun people, man. I'd love to be their friends for real.
Yeah, they're really
Okay,
cool.
last category, Etsy creator.
So I'm
Etsy.
gonna be I'm gonna be honest here. I don't follow Etsy enough to have someone that came to mind. Even though I've bought, it's kind of my go-to for gifts for my wife, because she always loves things that are created on there. But sorry, Etsy creators, I would like to be more educated, but I am not. And I would rather be honest than come and make up one just for this
Yeah.
question.
We did this on purpose, everyone. I knew he didn't have anybody, and I was going to ask him anyway, because it's okay. You don't have to have someone in mind in all of these categories. You might only read books. You might only listen to podcasts. You might only create stuff on Etsy, or buy stuff from Etsy creators. That doesn't matter. You don't have to have someone in every one of these categories. If you do, this is totally the place for you. But if you don't, that's okay. But so since you didn't say one, I'm going to say two.
Great.
The first Etsy creator I always immediately think of is also a very fun follow on Instagram. Is and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right. Amigurumi Kingdom. Amigurumi Kingdom on Etsy. She's also Figmented 1982 on Redbubble, but on Instagram she's Amigurumi Kingdom. She makes the cutest retro Epcot Center merch I've ever seen anyone make. Absolutely, hands down. It's all licensed, it's all with permission, and it's all fantastic.
Wow.
She's a fun Instagram follow or person to buy from on Etsy. But
That's awesome.
the most recent thing I bought on Etsy was from a guy named Go Away Green. He's yeah, anyone watching this would know what that's alluding to. But I bought these awesome imagination stickers that
Oh, rad.
yeah, and I bought a couple of those. But anyway, so he's a fun guy to follow too. Anyway, I thought that would be fun. I thought that'd be a fun way to sort of look at 9 creator sort of categories to tell our audience of 6 people why we are starting this and what sort of to expect. So in addition to sort of um, expecting a sort of ongoing conversation about creators inspired to create around Disney and other themed entertainment and themed space. But besides conversations about them, or hopefully conversations with them, what else can people expect from the Creative Kingdom Society?
Well, that's our main mission is highlighting those people, but also, we want to create that kind of situation where you feel like you're a part of the conversation. We want to create that situation where you're a part of this community, where you're a part of this society. So sometimes, we went into this recently. We actually tried to record this episode a couple of days ago, but didn't quite work out because some tech issues, and we got into Disney and mental health was a topic that we talked about. We want to talk about things like that. We want to talk about why we love Disney. Why are we 2 adults, 2 grown men who are still obsessed with it? Why are you watching this? There's a lot of that, that kind of thing. We also to kick off, we're going to be following the Behind the Attraction series that's coming out this coming week on the Imagineering channel. That's just what I call it. It's
I
the
wish there
Imagineering
was an
channel.
Imagineering channel. Gee.
That'd be awesome. It'd be awesome. But on Disney Plus, and we're going to be talking about those episodes. I know every episode, at least from what I understand, every episode covers a different attraction. We're going to be talking about that. Basically, we're going to have fun with this and talk about the things that Chuck and I and our other friends that we will bringing on from time to time,
Fellow members of the society,
would be talking about anyway, just in a more structured way that we can share with you guys.
and not only are we friends of those sorts of documentaries, we're also a super fan of the producer of this new one, The Rock.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah. I mean,
so obviously this is
absolutely.
I don't care that this is a big long commercial for the movie coming out. Of course it is. That's great.
See,
And
there's my WWE championship right there.
there it is.
Oh, there you go.
We're all super fans of themed entertainment of a variety of sources.
Yes.
But I am super excited to be part of this. I'm super excited to be part of this conversation with just looking at it through that sociological, anthropological, social science sort of lens, looking at these humans, the humans behind the creations of the creators inspired by other creations, and why there's this like what is it about some form of entertainment or space, some beautiful space that then inspires someone to act and do and add, and or to use a Walt Disney term, to plus, or to, like, I love it. I love it. I'm excited to be part of it and excited to be here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, art inspires more art, and that might be in a different fashion, that might be in a different form, and that's what creative people do, and that's going to be really exciting. I want to tell you one funny thing, and then we'll sign off for the day. Yesterday, my wife and I were in Yellowstone National Park, and she busted out laughing and teased me about how silly this was. That while we were driving by, I said the words, "Wow, Caitlin, look at that rock work. That's really amazing." And I was looking at, actual rocks, and I referred to it as rock work, as if someone had, an Imagineer had created this. But that's where my head is. So anyway, thank you everyone for being a part of this. We are the Creative Kingdom Society, and we're glad that you are a part of this. And we're excited to see your creations. Thanks so much. This is Jake Ballentine with Chuck Schofield. We'll see you in the next episode.
Keep creating and keep consuming.